But what am I doing wrong?
But that's not...
Darn it. What am I doing wrong? Why doesn't he like me as much?
Stop making dumplings.
Sorry. That's going in there.
You ready?
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, The Francie Moms. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Allie.
And today we're going to talk about parental favoritism.
We do content on lesbian relationships and parenting as a lesbian couple. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button for more content like this. And also hit the like button if you enjoy this video.
I do the thumbs up again. Okay, so I thought it was really important to do this video tonight because I personally have been having a very, very hard time with this. We talked about it a little bit in our previous video.
Non-biological parent and how we feel. We'll link that in the video card above.
So we talked about favoritism a little bit in that, and how I was kind of struggling with it at that point. And then I thought that we had come to some sort of like
Closure with that?
Closure with that, and I am failing still to this day. So
It's not really failing. It's just
I'm
you're still struggling with the feelings.
I am still struggling with the feelings, and I think it's important for us to be like completely open and honest with you guys because we're not perfect. We don't want to paint a picture of perfection in our household when that's definitely not the case. Last night, I had a meltdown. Long story short, I go to bed after they do, so I put Grayson to bed. I put him to bed, and then Allie gets up and goes to work before me. So, and that's my, that's kind of my alone time where I can read a book or play PUBG Mobile or...
No sponsorship, but PUBG.
No, but anyways, and so typically what happens is they're both in bed. I'm out in the living room, I shut everything off, and I go to bed maybe like 30 minutes to an hour later, if that. So it's not that big of a difference. But it just gives me a time to like settle down for the day by myself. Okay, so when I get into bed with them, I have been trying to kind of scoot my way closer to them and put my hand on him and try to love on him that way, and maybe he'll get used to me being on the other side of him, and that he'll gravitate towards me sometimes, but he just takes his hand and puts it on mine and literally just like and pushes me off. Like he doesn't want anything to do with me while he's sleeping.
But that's something that he does to me as well. If I try to cuddle up next to him, he kind of just wants his own space and he'll push me off too, and if he wants to cuddle, he'll cuddle. But if I'm wanting to like try to love on him, he'll push my hands off too.
So the night before last is when it got really bad for me. I went in after them as normal. They were both asleep, and I had just started to doze off when Grayson started crying, and he'll do this because he lost his passy or he got scared or had a night terror or whatever, and so my mom instincts kicked in, and so I got up and I turned my flashlight on so I could see what I was doing, and I picked him up, and he started screaming like he wanted nothing to do with me. He was like hitting me and like just trying to push me off of him, and I'm just like trying to comfort him and let him know it's okay and everything's fine, and I gave him his passy and then he threw it. I noticed that he like wanted back towards his pillow, so of course I didn't want to make him any more uncomfortable than he already was, so I let him go, and I could see him like cuddling up to Allie. Allie was asleep on her stomach with her face away from us, and he was like trying to like cuddle up next to her and touch her face, and he was like trying to get her to hold him. And so I was like, babe, wake up, like, you know, he wants you. And I started, like, the longer it took to get her to realize what was going on, the more resentment that I was having towards her. First of all, because I was like half asleep. Second of all, I've been having a hard time with this already. And third, she just like was not moving. She was not getting up, was not realizing what was going on. And, you know, in my head, I'm getting pissed off, and I'm like, just freaking hold him. Like, just, he wants you. And, like, do you know, like, in my head, I'm like, do you know how lucky you are that he just wants you to hold him? And so I'm just getting so mad. So finally I yelled at her, and I was like, can you just freaking hold him? And so she was like, I don't know why you're pissed at me, and like turned over, and he just laid down next to her and just like grabbed her face. Like, he grabs her face and then like plays with her earlobe. And I just lost it, because I was like, that's all he wanted, was for her to hold him. And nothing I did he wanted anything to do with. And so, of course, I was crying. So I left the room and calmed down, went back in, literally cried myself to sleep. I talked to her about, you know, telling her, like, look, I'm having a really hard time with getting a special bond with him. And I do at some points get frustrated with him, and it's not his fault. And then I'm mad at myself for getting frustrated with him for, you know, wanting love from his mom. It's such a weird place to be in, because at one point my favorite thing in the world is seeing Grayson happy and seeing him happy with her and loving on her. It's so precious and priceless. But then there's a part of me that gets this like, but what about me? Like,
Jealousy.
well, yeah, but at the same time I'm like, but what am I doing wrong?
But that's not.
Darn it. What am I doing wrong? Why doesn't he like me as much? I just want to be equal to her. And, you know, in the past video that we talked about, you know, it's a known fact that kids will choose one parent over the other. But at the same time, you know, feeling like I'm just just a random other person in his life, not feeling like a mom, like that, it takes something from me that I wanted from the moment I knew I was having kids. And that's really difficult.
So I think in these cases anyways, like, it's just kind of goes back and forth, like she said, but right now he's in a place where he is gravitating towards me a little bit more, and I dread the day that I have to experience the other end, because I know it will come. But at the same time, I think that it's important for us to keep our lines of communication open so that we can encourage each other. And like, I've been trying to not push him away from me, but kind of redirect him towards her a little bit more and encourage their relationship to grow so that she can feel comfortable as his mother. And I think being a lesbian couple and having two moms, it's hard to figure out what your role is, because it's not, you know, traditional gender roles where, you know, dad does the fun stuff and then mom does all the other stuff, or, you know,
like, we both
that's
do
stereotypical.
all of those things.
I don't think that that's how moms and dads are, but you know, it's just it's different, because typically the mom nurtures the babies or the children or whatever, and
that's both of our instincts.
Both of us, yeah. And
you know, when he gets hurt, we want
we
to
both
go
want to do it,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm sure, you know, I know that, you know, dads want to do that as well, and so I don't want to feel like we're excluding anybody based on their gender, because I think that it's something that everybody can relate to, and that's kind of what I want to portray, is that, you know, we have said before, we don't really believe in gender roles because we think everything should be equal in a relationship, in parenting, and, you know, everything like that. But just like speaking stereotypically, and what you imagine when you grow up and have kids and things like that, you just think that, oh, it's just going to be so easy, and it's not. It's a lot harder, I think, for us to navigate those roles and what we play, and he really determines that, and that happens, like I said, in any relationship. I think that happens with anybody. Like, sometimes the mother might want to be there to comfort, but the child wants the dad, and that's just kind of how it goes, like, and vice versa. Or, you know, for two men, if they're parenting their children together, then, you know, it's the same thing, like just navigating how to go through those periods and trials with your children. But like I said, we try to let him lead us in what he wants.
I literally, on it, like, as his mom, and, you know, being his mom, you know, it's one of my instincts to take care of him, and to, you know, if he gets an owie, to love on him and fix him up, and when he's scared, to hold him and tell him it's okay. And I never thought that, hey, when these things happen, he might not want you. He might want somebody else. And I mean, she's the mom too, but I think both of us have those, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you have that.
Well,
like, that's your
I
kid.
expect that he would want me too. Like,
That's
you
what
know.
I'm saying. Like, I didn't think that he would literally refuse me. I thought that either, honestly, I thought that he would prefer either of us, because we're both his mom. And I thought that he would, you know, if he fell and got hurt, that he would come to whoever was closest, or whoever got there first, to take care of him. And that's not the case. He'll get hurt, and I go to him, and no, mama. And he'll push me away and go to her. And I'm just like, chopped liver.
I think your mindset also has some to do with how you deal with the feelings that you're having. So I think that it's important to try to realize, like you say, you know, hey, like, for instance, when I was sleeping and she was getting upset with me, when we were talking earlier in the pool, she said, I know that's not logical, but that's what I was thinking. And so catching yourself in those moments and saying, wait a minute, that's not true, that's just the feeling that I'm having.
But I was in such a dark place at that moment.
And there's nothing wrong with feeling that way, but being able to stop and realize, wait, that's not logical, is something that I think is very important.
I do stop and think that that's not logical, but my emotions just take over my logistics. Is that the right word?
Yeah, maybe.
And
Logic. Just logic.
My emotions take over my logic, and I just
There's no
can't.
control.
There's nope. I try, and then I also think that I've been like yesterday, I almost fainted. I think I've been having like panic attacks, but they're not like the normal panic attacks that I have, and I'm just like literally losing my shit over here. So tonight, we did bedtime as normal. I went and put him to sleep, and right off the bat, he did something new. He didn't even want to start out cuddling me as we go to bed. So he was in a goofy mood, so we were doing the shadow puppets on the ceiling, so he thought that was funny, and we were having a good time, and I was trying to make him comfortable, and I ended up turning the phone off, and he laid on his own pillow. He didn't want to come and lay with me. I even asked him, I was like, baby, come lay with mommy, and he said no, and so I was like, okay, well, and like I've been doing, I started to sing to him, and I was kind of just like patting him from afar, letting him have his space, but trying to like comfort him and put him to sleep too. And he did something really weird. He got up, and I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those times where he has like a really hard time falling asleep, and I'm going to have to keep putting him down. He's going to cry. It's going to be a whole thing. But he came over to me, and he laid his head on my chest and his arm around my stomach, and just to cuddle. And so at that point, I had a tear go down my face, but I was like, hold it together. You can't know that you're crying, because that's gonna ruin everything. So I just continued to sing, and then he leans up off of me, and I thought, well, this is it. This lasted a whole 5 seconds. But he took his passy out of his mouth, and he kissed me on my chest. And without being prompted, I did not ask for a kiss, which he doesn't do that with me. He doesn't randomly just kiss me for no reason, or just come up and love on me for no reason. But he does it with Allie all the time. And this is one of the things that, I've been struggling with, that he doesn't show me affection like he does her. And so that one, it got to me, and I obviously started crying more, and I'm still trying to sing to him. And I don't know if maybe he sensed how much that meant to me, because then he did it a few more times. And then he gets up off of me, and lo and behold, goes to his pillow.
Yeah, my pillow. My $200 pillow that he is in love with. I got it for free, by the way, with our mattress purchase.
Got a good deal. Anyway, so he lays down on his stomach. His head's towards me. I'm laying on my own pillow. He's on his own. I'm patting him, still singing. And I was like, well, at least he's letting me pat him. I started to rub his back, and I hit a tickle spot. I started laughing. And I was like, crap, no, we're not playing. It's time to go to sleep. And then he gets up again, and I was like, God dang it. How long is it going to take for me to get this kid to sleep? But he got up, and he took his passy out of his mouth, and he kissed me on my lips. Why? Why does this make me cry? And I said, I love you, and he told me he loved me, and he laid back down, and I continued, and then he fell asleep. God. Anyway. I'm a mess. But I think that something is happening to where, I don't know if he's realizing that, my heart is hurting, and so he's, trying to comfort me in his own little way, his 2-year-old mind way. But he's never done that before. And, he'll never, ever know how much just that little ordeal meant to me, because I just want to feel loved. You just want to feel loved by your kid, and I know that he loves me, but as a mom, I want a special bond with him too, and so we will be in the process of trying to improve things a little bit more. But I think that tonight, these right now are happy tears, because that was pretty awesome.
So I think, just kind of to sum things up, it's important to open the lines of communication with your significant other, because like I said, I have been trying to pay attention to that and encouraging their relationship more, instead of like what I would normally do, where I just kind of do everything that needs to be done, and I just, if Courtney's there and it happens to be able to help with it, then she helps with it, and if not, I just do it. But I've been kind of like trying to push Courtney into some of those things, like instead of me just getting up and doing something, I'm like, hey, why don't you do this with him, or whatever the case might be. And I think it's important for them to have that special bond. We've talked about different things that she could do with him alone, or we could do as a family where she could take a lead a little bit more, things like that. So just being able to talk to your spouse or significant other about the things that are bothering you, because if you married a good person, which hopefully you did, they're going to encourage you too. Like, them having a good bond doesn't hurt me at all. It improves my life, so I want the best for them, and I want the best for you, and I want, all of us to feel important in each of our roles. I think that our relationship has been in a very good place, better than ever since we've had Grayson. But, at the same time, her relationship with Grayson, or she felt that it was suffering and it needed some additional attention. And so, the best thing to do is just encourage that and pay attention to it. If you're feeling that way, then do something about it. Don't resent your partner because they're receiving the attention from your child. And I think that's what's really important when you talk about parental favoritism.
When I felt like that, that's when I was like, we need to discuss this. Like, I need to see a therapist. I need to up my medicine. I don't know, but something is wrong. But even after just talking to her today, like in the pool, and especially now seeing how, we've been playing all day and stuff, and this was how he reacted tonight, it is so, so important that you communicate with each other, because I think that helped a lot.
I think that's one of the most important things, especially because it wasn't involving me directly, but it was involving me. And so when I'm like, oh, I didn't know that you were feeling these things, I didn't know that you were thinking this way, what can I do to help? And that's, if you're struggling on the other end where your spouse is complaining or getting upset with you or anything like that, then that's, instead of pushing the baby or child or whoever away from you towards them, you don't want to do that to your child either. I don't want to push Grayson away from me. I want our relationship to stay the same. But his relationship with her can still improve, or she feels that it can improve, then that's what we need to do. I don't want my relationship to suffer because she feels like hers isn't good enough. I want both of us to have the best relationship we can with him.
And their relationship is one of the most, I can't even explain it. It makes my heart so happy to see them together.
Yeah, he kissed my foot earlier.
Yeah. I just want to feel like mom. And I wasn't for a little bit, so.
Yeah,
and this is something that we're continuing to work on, and we have plans to try some different things. So we will definitely do an update with you on this.
All right, so if you guys want to comment down below, let us know if you have any advice or anything that you do in your relationship to kind of balance your parenting, parent relationships, whatever you want to call it.
I just made the weirdest fucking
yes. You were like this.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Alright, so if you guys have any comments or any advice for us as far as balancing out a relationship with our children, or our child now, but hopefully future children, let us know down below. Also follow us on Instagram. We did just pass 1,000 followers, so that's pretty awesome. Thanks, guys. I'm thinking about maybe doing a giveaway if we can get to 3,000 followers before the end of the month. So if you guys want to do that, let us know. And hit us up on our DMs because we do check those every single day. We respond to everybody that DMs us. And if you guys have any ideas or anything that you'd like to see us talk about, then let us know there as well, or down in the comments. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more content like this, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything that we post. We do post twice a week.
And on that note, we will see you next time.
Bye!
Bye!